2022 has been an excellent year for movies. It's been a treasure trove of brilliant horror, animation, and mind-blowing visual feasts. There was so much to choose from this year that composing a top 10 list was rather challenging. Like, there were a few for sure films that I knew were going to be on this list, but it was really hard to kind of choose, just a top 10 in general, just because there was so much good stuff this year. But now, after having sorted through hundreds of films from last year, here are the best movies of 2022. Number 10, Turning Red. Pixar's best film of the year is more than just the groundbreaking movie that addresses periods. While foregoing most of that allegory, the entire premise of the teenager May becoming a giant red panda is as heartfelt as it is fun. I really loved the absurd anime style being more distinct than other CGI movies, and the energetic humor coursing throughout this early 2000s fantasy adventure is just so good. It's very funny, very nostalgic, and very moving at times. In other words, it's the best kind of Pixar film, and the type that I hope they keep making more of in the future. Number 9, Armageddon Time. The tale of a Jewish boy growing up in 1980s New York and learning about the harsh realities of the world. Racism, anti-Semitism, class divide, and corruption all assault this plucky kid trying to figure out his life. There are a lot of angering and heartbreaking moments in this picture, but there's also a lot of hope. Plus, it's so satisfying listening to Anthony Hopkins as the chipper grandpa, who is well aware of racists and tells his grandson that these people can go f*** themselves. I absolutely adore this movie. Number 8, Aftersun. The general premise of Aftersun is that of a father learning to let go of his daughter as she grows up before his very eyes throughout a vacation. But it's way more than that, functioning on a cerebral and emotional level of coming to terms with fleeting moments. Posed partially through a camera to give a little bit of a nostalgic effect, there's a profoundly heartbreaking contemplation here on how fleeting life is and how time will change right before our very eyes. It's a film that wants to hang on to those small moments of joy and wonder that come with being a parent, and it only lets go of those moments with this bittersweet grace to it all. The last shot of the father walking off into the hallway down to the next stage of his life is one of the most perfect endings to this slow and somber drama. Number 7, Nope. Jordan Peele is 3 out of 3 when it comes to horror movies. Nope is a horror film that turns the camera around on the audience with a UFO story that is anything but predictable. Centering around the brother and sister duo of OJ and M, the two of them try to save their horse ranch from an alien in the sky that is difficult to track. In addition to being a contemplation on taming nature and being bound by an audience, there are some grand and gorgeous shots in this film that merge sci-fi, horror, and even westerns. It also has one of the most nightmare-inducing scary shots of any film that I saw this year. And I mean, you know which one I'm talking about. The one inside the alien where all the people are getting, crushed. Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, and it's brilliant. Number 6, Decision to Leave. Director Park Chan-wook already has a robust filmography, and you can add Decision to Leave to the top part of that list as well. This detective thriller follows an insomniac detective and his relationship with a suspect that enters into dangerous romantic territory. This twisty plot of murder cases and secret love is excellent, but the highlights of this film are the eye-popping shots that are creatively staged. Everything from the shifting focus of the interrogation room to the off-putting perspective of the corpses is just so perfect. The final scene on a beach as the tide comes in is as beautiful to look at as it is somber for the realization of a relationship coming to a very bitter end. Number 5, The Menu. This somewhat literal Eat the Rich movie is so fulfilling. Ralph Fiennes plays a world-class chef who has decided his final dinner service will end with a murder-suicide finale. His plans are slightly thrown off when he realizes Anya Taylor-Joy's character is not among the stuffy and wealthy elite. This leads to some rather surprising moments amid all the planned-out violence and bizarre nature of the menu itself. Gruesome and absurd, this is a top-notch class satire at its finest, with pitch-perfect performances and brilliant tension mounting as the guests suffer for their sins. You will never look at s'mores and cheeseburgers the same way again. Number 4, Babylon. Director Damien Chazelle savages Hollywood's transition from silent to sound as one big, bold, blunt, and bombastic party. The rise and fall of actors and producers is such an intoxicating experience, overflowing with fantastic performances. Extra attention should be paid to Diego Calva as the evolving Manny. He's the heart and soul of this picture, that proceeds from dreamy fugue states of an out-of-control party to a somber realization of cinema's bitter evolution. I know this film has been a bit polarizing, but all the attention to detail and lavish staging is so damn good that I think in time it's going to be better recognized as Chazelle's best film. Also, the soundtrack by Justin Hurwitz is some of the best movie music that I've heard all year. Number 3, The Banshees of Inisherin. Director Martin McDonagh has crafted a film masterpiece that is simultaneously hilarious and sad at extreme levels throughout. Set on an Irish island, Colin Farrell plays a dim man who can't understand why his best friend, played by Brendan Gleeson, doesn't want to be friends anymore. What follows is a dryly amusing and dishearteningly tragic story of men unable to process complex feelings. Feelings of existentialism, loneliness, anger, and suicide become hard to handle for these guys on such a lonely island. It's the type of film that makes you want to laugh at the relatability and then bawl your eyes out at how close it hits to home. Number 2, RRR. SS Rajamouli's action epic is one of the most intense and exciting action pictures I've seen all year. Set in 1920s India, revolutionaries Raju and Bhim form a bond as they strike back against British occupations. The two engage in everything from bold, close combat fights to high-energy dance-offs. It just fires on all cylinders for being a film that can highlight the political and racist issues of the era, while still featuring a thrilling chase sequence involving horses and motorcycles. Also, Natu Natu is just... It's just such a great musical sequence. It's just the best. It's an unbelievable action epic that I can't get enough of. And finally, at number 1, Everything Everywhere All at Once. This film will likely be a favorite of many this year, and I mean, why wouldn't it be? The Daniels have directed an unbelievably surreal, eccentric, and transcendent film. The tale of the unfortunate laundromat owner Evelyn being sent on an interdimensional adventure is meaningful, exciting, and just bizarre. In addition to being loaded with heart and charm, the action-packed sequences feature stellar editing and an immense sensation of boundless imagination. What follows is a trippy adventure of martial arts, romance, family, bagels, raccoons, butt plugs, and weaponized dildos. True to its title, this film really does have everything, and it's sure to set a gold standard for future films with the desire to tap into the concept of the multiverse. And just in case you don't believe me that there was way too many good films this year to properly make a top 10 list, here are a few honorable mentions. Crimes of the Future, David Cronenberg's detective story / body horror tale that proves to be just as grotesque and surreal as some of the director's best works. All Quiet on the Western Front, a viciously violent remake of the classic war picture depicting the horrors of World War I. Fire of Love, the engrossing documentary on a married couple who made fantastic discoveries in volcanology. Tar, Cate Blanchett's finest performance of playing a problematic conductor whose career crumbles. Mad God, Phil Tippett's animation masterpiece of exploring a nightmarish world of unbound violence and surreal terror. And Argentina 1985, a thrilling depiction of one of the most important court cases against a fascist military in Argentina. I feel like I have to mention this film because I feel it's one of the best courtroom movies I've seen in a very long time. So there you go, those are the best movies of 2022. As always, I will not be doing a worst of the year list just because I'd rather talk about the films I love. And if there are films that you love that you feel I did not address in this list, please feel free to mention them in the comments below.